So I'm so excited that you chose to make time to be here right now, and you chose to make time to find out about these power centers and how we can unlock them to access the wisdom of our body. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this content with you today. There's a lot that I really want to give to you to put into your hands. So let's start with just presencing ourselves in the space, and just, you can get comfy. If you're not driving, you can just find a nice place and close your eyes. Maybe even, if you want, you can put your hand on your heart or on your womb. And take a few deep breaths and just come into here. Feel your body supported by the surface that you're on. And bring light in with each breath to flood the body, cleanse your energetic space around you. Maybe you can see that light just filling the central channel, the central column of your body. See it radiating out into your limbs, into your face, into your skin. Each breath just nourishing your body, your essence, and your energy with this light that is always available and always your divine birthright to access. Let's take another couple of breaths here. See that light radiating out behind you as well, making a full egg of divine protection around you, a full eggshell of light. Sometimes it can be hard to imagine behind us. So just intend to send this radiance all around you. And come back here. You can open your eyes and join together. So my name is Ana Loza, and it is my greatest pleasure and my greatest honor to see women thriving, to see women connecting with their essence, to see women shedding the energetic shackles which have been taken on through our lives, and just stepping into our full essence and radiance. And this is something that's fully available to each of us. And what I'm going to share with you today are the practices that weed our garden so that our radiance can really be present. So we can be present with our radiance, really, with our essence. So a lot of what I do with people is about clearing limiting beliefs, because it's really these kind of thought patterns that we've taken on and we've believed from some interaction in childhood or throughout our life, absolutely by no fault of ours. This is something that is so common as a human. We are programmed to learn from each other. And as you look at the planetary state right now, at the planetary consciousness, we know that there's a lot of wisdom and love and other virtues that can be cultivated more. So it's absolutely not our fault that we have limiting beliefs, we have blocked energy. What we get to do is now use everything at our disposal to liberate this and step into our full divine power, our birthright of a magnificent life. And this is what really inspires me and really sets my soul on fire, to connect you with this core essence of you. So what I'm about to share with you today, I want to tell you a little bit about how I came to even get this and how I came to be here sharing this with you right now. And then we're going to do some embodied exercises to really see yourself in this stream as well. So really, this is the culmination of the past 7+ years of my life. And at that time, those years ago, I was consistently having this sensation like I kept sabotaging myself. That's what I was calling it. Like I was almost betraying myself. And what I mean by this is that I would have all these really good intentions to maintain my center, to be with emotional mastery, to not be reactive, to manifest this and that goal. And then all of a sudden, I would just, something would crack within me and I would spill this emotional reactivity, or hesitation would creep up, or fear would creep up. And I would genuinely feel like I was betraying myself especially when I was approaching these really powerful goals that I kept moving towards, that I thought I was moving towards. And then at the last moment, it's like the bridge would just fall out from underneath me and I would be left floundering thinking, what happened? Why am I feeling like this again? Why can't I make progress? And at that time in my life, I was just trying my logical best to move into these dreams that I was having around love, around having a relationship that was really moving my soul. At that time, I also was nourishing my career, really starting to teach and starting to see what I was enlivened to put out there. And I was making a little bit of progress here and there and sharing here and there, but it just wasn't, like, something wasn't clicking. And then I also I wanted to be able to just speak my truth. Speak my desires with my partner in my teaching. And I wanted to open myself up to receiving both pleasure and money. And at that time, I was really trying to work through, like, what is it that was blocking me from really opening my body up to pleasure, really saying, yes, I am doing this service and I deserve to receive money for it. I felt guilty. I felt ashamed. And these things were really just coming up in my system. And I'm trying and I'm putting my hands up to my head, because really what was happening is that I kept accessing these kind of mental, logical kind of pathways that I thought, like, okay, I could think my way through this. Okay, I could analyze this. I come from a psychology background. I have a bachelor's in psychology. So at that time, I was really connected with these kind of psychological approaches and thinking that I could really just look mentally at a situation and find my way through this maze. So that's what I was doing. And I was incorporating meditation. I was doing a little bit of Qigong. I was doing just a couple things here and there, and still I was not really making the progress that I wanted to make. So it was about 7 years ago that I moved to the United States from Canada to live with this partner who was this really kind of conscious man. So I thought, like, whoa, this is it. I'm starting down this pathway in my life. Now everything's changing because I've called in this conscious partner. I'm intending to study my spirituality deeper. And I even have this career that's kind of somewhat started. I'm kind of doing a couple things here and there. And it just wasn't moving. And despite, my partner, this externalized reflection of myself, this person was a professional, conscious, psychedelic eating shaman. That's what he calls himself in his profession. And I thought, okay, with this, I could really, here we go. I'm going to really step into all my dreams now. I have all the tools. I have everything I need. And still, I wasn't accessing my truth and my essence. And something just wasn't right. So, spending time with books and with prayer and visualization, meditation, and even going down the route of psychedelics, really going down that path. So some doors would open, but it wasn't a permanent, embodied, effective, grounded shift. So it's like during some practice or during some psychedelic journey, some door would bust through and I would have this vision of my essence and my truth. That said, after that, it just kind of went back to how it was. And I wasn't making this permanent, embodied breakthrough. So, pardon this bell. We may hear more of that. So I felt like I kept sabotaging myself still with reactivity, anger, shame, guilt. and these feelings would just crop up at the most inopportune time. So sometimes when I would want to make a big move, and maybe you can see, is this happening for you? Sometimes it's like at those moments when we really are like, okay, I have this goal, I have this dream, here I go. And it's like, oh, actually I feel hesitation, or like maybe I'll do it next week, maybe I'll do it later. And it's at those moments that our body actually reacts. So logically, we have this intention. Logically, we know that, oh yeah, this would be great to manifest this, to go down this pathway. I'm so sorry about this bell. Okay. I'm sorry about that. So can you feel that in your body, it's your body that actually has the final word, your body that actually has the final say about whether you go to do something? So these kind of things are stored in our body, and it's over the next several years that I really came to understand that and deeply embody that. So there was a time in my life where I lived really minimally. I was living out of my van. I was going into my studies deeper about spirituality, and I was just shedding things that no longer served this kind of deep embodiment of my soul. So it's an alignment of matter and spirit that I was moving towards. And at this time, I actually personally went away from the path of psychedelic use and like substance use. And I just felt like I wanted to see how can I embody really, and how can I embody what I saw a little bit in psychedelic and theogenic journeys? How could I really live that on a day-to-day basis? And that's when I also unplugged a little bit from the majority of like the new age conscious spiritual community. And I started looking as well at this time at my relationship with money and my relationship with pleasure, at why I was afraid to speak my truth. And I came to this place of like, well, how does it feel when these choices come up? How does it feel when I want to live in a new way? And I started really seeing that my body was either lighting up with fight or flight, or it was staying numb. So there's these two kind of swings of the pendulum that I started to see. You know, so many of us right now in our culture, we live day to day in a fight or flight experience. And sometimes we can feel that. Sometimes people are, you know, we may not even be aware of that until we really start to see and look inside. And this is really just one of the first steps of initiating body practices. It does start with an inward gaze for a little bit of time to just see like, whoa, yeah, the body's important. The body's really lighting up. Or I'm about to receive pleasure and actually I feel really numb and there's not much going on in my body. It's a shutting down. So it's like these two sides of the pendulum, and what we're going for is this middle way. So all of these practices that I've used have brought me so much more into this middle way. The pendulum isn't really swinging so much anymore. And this is what I know is possible for each of us, and what I know you so deserve. So I found the tools to open and to activate my body. So instead of coming from the mind and from this logical side of things where I was kind of trying to analyze it and see what kind of practice could find me through the maze, I actually started coming to it from my body. And what happened when we make this shift of like, whoa, we don't need to think too much. We don't need to think our way through this. Really, it's this gentle approach where we literally do something that involves touching our body, that involves interacting with our body, and our body is always accessible to us. We're here with our body all the time. And that's why healing is consistently accessible to you right now. So it's this gentle approach that really allowed me to have so much more compassion for myself, so much more love for myself. And it really brought on these feelings of deservedness and pleasure and empathy instead of this judgmental approach. So think about that word, judgmental. Mental is a part of it, right? So we're coming out of our mind. We're using our mind only as a kind of directive, as a kind of servant to the emotions and the feelings within our bodies. So there were these core things that I was working with that I mentioned a little bit in the beginning, these core things that were coming up for me in my life and my soul embodiment journey to move through. So I started to notice that they corresponded with three major centers in my body. So these three centers are esoterically, energetically, experientially linked. So, I should have asked you to get a pen and paper before we started, because I want to do a couple written exercises with you. So go ahead and just grab that right now if you don't have that. Just take a moment to get yourself that. What I want you to do is to start specifically identifying the themes in your life. So you may already be aware of them, or they'll kind of come to you when they're happening. So some of these things that we're trying to identify is, what do you often find yourself judging yourself for? So is it something about your body that you're judging? Or do you think that you should be further ahead in some way? Or is it something that you think you shouldn't be doing? And, it's something that comes up and that you feel yourself interacting with regularly. So go ahead and just write down one or two or three of these things. So it's something like, what are you trying to move through right now? What's your biggest challenge? What keeps coming up when you're interacting with your beloved or your family or your career? Like, what's happening for you? What is most present for you right now that you're trying to shift through? And maybe it's one central thing, though often when we start to really kind of peek under the surface, and this is something for you to take for the next couple of days as well and see, because often our life will present us with this and we'll think, oh, right, this thing, this again, this is happening. So it's something that you're meeting over and over, and it's potentially one of your core wounds. So one of your core challenges, one of your core sort of experiences in this life. So take a moment and write that down for yourself. And I want to tell you a bit more specifically about some of these stories that are almost embarrassing for me to share. And I just want to presence to you, how deep this was affecting my life when I started discovering that I can't think my way through this, that this is in the body. So I'm gonna show you a couple of these things. So there are three body centers that are really potent that I've come to realize throughout this journey. And these are body centers where we also have a lot of physical illness in society right now. So I started to notice that my core challenges actually line up with these centers. I call them the power centers because there's so much power generated held in these places. So to begin with, I'm going to tell you what these centers are by showing you the kind of things that I was moving through in them. And yeah, I feel a little bit like, wow, it's vulnerable to share this. So the first center and the first challenge that I was encountering is that I saw that I was hiding and I was keeping myself safe and not speaking up. And I wanted to share and teach, and I was doing a little bit of it. At that time, I was teaching about herbalism and herbs and fermentation and food as medicine. And this is something that I'm still really passionate about. And at that time, that was really central to my life. And I was bringing this forward to people and talking to them about optimizing health with herbalism and with, how to brew your own kombucha and kefir and how to make your own sauerkraut. That said, I was really keeping it minimal. I wasn't really stepping out with this. And I saw that, I was kind of going 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I wasn't really fully committed to showing up and claiming this is what I want to do and how I want to make money and how I want to be seen. And this is my career and I love this and I want this. I wasn't really claiming that. And it was after my mom was diagnosed with thyroid cancer that I started to really look at the throat as a major energetic, esoteric field of power. So I started to see that it's this core power center that governs so much of what I was experiencing. And I started to implement body-based practices that were aimed at opening the throat as a portal of power. And it was only then when I started to apply these sacred throat practices that I started to see some of my hesitation melting. And I was accessing core childhood wounds that were keeping me quiet, keeping me pleasing others, and in general, just not stepping out. It's like I was afraid that my words and my presence and my speech were going to harm somebody, were going to annoy them or irritate them. So I started to just, first of all, just pay attention to this area. I started to sing more. I started to just like literally physically activate this area. And there's so much more that I would want to put into your hands with this. We can talk about other practices that are here. And I want to keep going and share more with you. So, what that resulted in is that today I have the business of my dreams. I get to work with people that are really committed to making huge shifts in their life. My calendar is packed to the extent that I want it to be packed. And I have no qualms about showing up and speaking my message. I love being here and serving you and speaking with you and discussing these things with you. This lights me up and I'm willing to own that. So it happened because of the sacred activation practices that I was using in combination with tapping. So let me know right now, do you know what tapping is? Have you ever heard of EFT? So maybe I'll unmute you, Christine. Tell me, have you heard of EFT? Or you can write in the chat box. Okay. So for those of us who don't know what EFT is all about, this is a major technique that we use to transform ourselves from our body. It's a technique that goes right into our neural pathways to rewire connections that we've made. So there's this saying in neuroscience that neurons that fire together, wire together. So basically this means that if we keep activating a certain connection over and over, it's going to get fused. And now this is a much easier bridge for energy to cross through than if there wasn't a bridge, if there wasn't a connection. So the more that we keep activating a certain pattern, the more it starts getting fused together. And this is biological. This happens in our biological system. So in our body-based system. So we use tapping, the technique of tapping, to go into this and start unwinding and rewiring different connections. So this is such a potent tool. This is huge for accessing our truth, our essence, and really getting us empowered into activating our dreams. So this will change our approach from a logical, mental-based kind of, yeah, I want that, to like, whoa, my body is on board with me wanting this. So tapping involves touching acupressure points and literally tapping on them with our fingertips and activating other acupressure points while verbalizing our emotions. So emotions also are energy that is stored in the body that we can use our words to speak through and access. So I am not going to show you a full sequence of tapping right now. I'm just going to leave this on the table as this is a major tool to activate the body and to rewire our nervous system. So it can facilitate some serious long-lasting change. So I just want to check in with you and let me know, what core wounds have you identified? Like, what core patterns in your life have you identified, have you seen in yourself? So just take a moment and let me know about that. Okay, so money and feeling guilty receiving, relationship drama. Okay. So this is perfect. We're going to go directly into this. So the first power center that I mentioned is the throat. So there's another wound. So as I was looking at what was happening in my life, I started to activate and see another power center that is so crucial, especially in our culture and our societal atmosphere right now. And the second power center is the heart. So activating the heart, unwinding what we've been taught and opening the heart, really blooming the heart. This is so crucial. So the way that I saw this in my own life is that I saw that consistently throughout my relationships, I did not really have deep trust. I did not really have deep surrender. So this came up across several relationships that I had throughout the years. And what I saw was that when my partner was out alone, I experienced all sorts of stories running through my mind. And I would have this experience of abandonment. I was living out this triangle of the victim, the perpetrator, and the rescuer. So it's like I would swing into abandonment, which would make me get defensive and want to shut my heart down. And then I would feel like I got to keep my heart shut down until someone else fulfills this external, until someone else comes in and like makes me feel good. So I see this so frequently when I'm speaking with couples about their connection, or I'm speaking with women about how they show up with their partners. So it's so common for us to want to really be trusting and sensual and open. And for women, it usually starts in the heart. This is usually where our arousal and our turn on really starts from. And also how we want to just show up in the world, show up on the street, show up with a stranger. An open heart is something that is so powerful to cultivate. And it's where a lot of resonance and manifestation power really comes from. So it wasn't until I started tapping to clear this pattern of trust that I really saw it shift, like viscerally, as in I stopped feeling mistrust. I stopped feeling unsafe in a situation where my partner wasn't checking in with me constantly or wasn't, feedbacking with me. And I mean, right now, as I'm recording this, my husband is on a 1-week trip to another country. And I am feeling blissful and content and like literally feeling just neutrality around something that actually used to really bother me. And I thought that this was something that I was just going to keep experiencing. And with tapping and with heart massage and with really going into this, I started to rewire something that I really didn't think was possible for me. So when I finally started feeling easeful and neutral around this, it was almost a shock to me. Like I didn't think that would be possible in my life. So this is how potent and epic these tools are, because there's an actual visceral embodied shift that happens that just takes you to another plane of existence. that maybe we thought like, well, I'm never going to get there. This isn't for me. I'm just going to struggle with this for a really long time. This is just going to be what happens. So no, I want to tell you that no, it doesn't have to be like that. You deserve to feel good, and it's possible. It's possible to feel good. And it is about the activation of this power center of the heart. And there are embodied somatic practices to get us there. So I want to be a testament to this work, that something happened that I never thought would take place for me. And that's why I'm so passionate about this work. I'm so passionate about getting this to you, because I know that you are capable of meeting your essence. This is our birthright. We get to do this. We get to do this work. And it's just been one of the most monumental shifts in my existence to have the experience of trust and surrender in a relationship, whereas before this was a central challenge. And this is so common for so many women, that trust and surrender in a relationship especially is a central love life and general life experience. It's so powerful. It's so strong. And this has just completely shifted my perspective. Whereas before I was trying to think my way through this, as I was saying, now I get to just approach this with the body-based tool of tapping. So we might actually have time to go into a tapping sequence together. I just want to tell you about this third power center. I want to let you know about that and tell you about another personal challenge that I was experiencing around there. And feel free to just write any comments or any questions that you have throughout this time in the chat box here. So you can let me know anything that's going on for you, anything that's coming up, and I will attend to that as I see that come through. So these challenges were intertwined with these power centers. And this next one that I want to tell you about has been to do with parenting. This has been a big one, and it's actually where a lot of things that I wasn't even ready to see about myself, where those popped up, and where I really had to bring a lot of compassion to myself. And thankfully, this is exactly where I had the tools to take my own medicine. And it's exactly what I want to share with you about, because there are so many of us that are in the role of parenting or caregiving in one way or another. In my case, it's with a stepdaughter, with a beautiful little young stepdaughter, the sweetest little being. And in relating with her, so much of my stuff has been coming up. So this has really brought up a lot of ancestral karma for me, a lot of stuff around my own relationship with my mom. And if you didn't get a chance to watch the ancestral karma, ancestral healing and family karma webinar that I've made accessible just last week, just in short, what I want to tell you is that by attending and clearing our own patterns and our own wounds, we get to ripple a new consciousness, first of all, right now throughout the planet, and second of all, in our family lineages, in this kind of beyond time, beyond space kind of field of energy that we are now the stewards of in our body. Through our body, we can access healing that now shifts the life experience for a child. So I know that parenting is one of the central challenges for us. And as much as selfless as we are, as giving as we are, there are patterns that come up to be seen. There is even trauma from our own childhood that will come up and sort of want to play out again, unless we use an effective tool that creates grounded change to shift this and change it. So what was happening for me is that as this little girl was crying or having a tantrum, I had all my stuff come up and I felt guilty. I felt angry. I felt control issues. And I felt like I had to do something perfectly, like I had to take care of this little being perfectly, and that everyone else around her had to take care of her perfectly as well, according to my perception of perfect. Also, I this is really vulnerable to admit. I started feeling like I wanted attention. I wanted more attention. I wanted more approval. I wanted to get this feedback from me, like look at me, aren't I doing well? All of this kind of personality driven, ego driven stuff started rearing its head. And this is one of the most monumental shifts that I've experienced with the tapping technique and with the other body-based practices. So what happened basically is that as I was tapping on all of these emotions, so basically what happens is that we use the tapping points, and I think we will go through this together actually because we have time for that, so that's awesome. As I was tapping through that and voicing my emotions, it ended up being that as I did this a couple times, and so when this sweet baby, when she had a tantrum again, when she was crying and like screaming basically again, which used to be a huge trigger for me, it just totally surprised me. So what happened was that I all of a sudden saw her as a soul, as a full person, not just a small person in a small body. I just saw her essence. And I saw that she's learning to interact with this body. And I saw myself as unattached to her in the best way possible, just neutral, available, unattached. And I was able to just be with her as she was crying, just to sit with her and to have her cry in my lap. Whereas before, even if I'm sitting with her and she's crying in my lap, I would feel this like, oh, come on, stop crying, just like triggers. And this time I could just be with her. And I was just holding her. And what I started to do just intuitively is I started to tap on her face, on the points that I could reach because she was covering her face. And as I did this, and I didn't tell her to stop crying, I didn't ask her to change her emotion, nothing. I just started to tap on the points of her that I could reach. And what happened was that she just fell asleep in my lap. She just easily kind of like her crying died down and she fell asleep in my lap. So I was astounded that I was able to just abide in this calm, neutral, loving, available place with this child, and that I was able to bring this technique to her and tap on her as she was experiencing an emotion and bring ease to her. So this is something that has just been so pivotal. It's something that I want for you. It's something that I know that you can access within yourself, whatever it is that's triggering you, that's bringing up this like, oh, I wish that would change, that kind of emotion. You can have ease with that. This particular experience, I identified as coming into my womb, my Hara, the power center of this cauldron of energy that we can identify with the second chakra, that we can identify with our center of creativity, our center that's either open and receiving or closed up tight and resisting. So it's also the center of boundaries, of healthy boundaries. So knowing where it is that our own soul embodiment ends, so to speak, and another being's begins, if we can say it in that sense. So this place of healthy non-attachment from which unconditional love and availability can now flow. So that's in the power center of the womb. So this is also where there's so much, for women especially, ancestral karma hooked into the system. It's where a lot of suffering, a lot of just the rejection of our innate birthright of pleasure has come from. Excuse me. So what was happening is that I was having this very kind of confused, twisted experience that had a lot of pain and also a lot of love in it. And my body was feeling like it was in fight or flight. So when we have a trigger come up, it could be with money. It could be with speaking our truth. Like we want to say no to someone, or we want to start presencing our voice in the world, or we want to receive pleasure. But all of a sudden our body's like, this isn't safe. This isn't good. All of a sudden, right? Logically, we think, okay, well, I can act this way. I should act this way, but our body is saying no. So it's this fight or flight, or this shutting down, or wanting to run away and hide, which is the flight part of this, that we can totally transform, that we totally have the ease, the capacity to transform. And it's thanks to these tools, like really great gratitude to these tools, that I was basically able to almost fully move through that. And now when I register my body experiencing another layer of this, I immediately go to this. I go to the tapping process. I do this for myself, and it liberates that layer that was up. And then I'm back into, having ridden that wave that's kind of coming like a tsunami. I've now ridden that, like surfing it with these tools, until the wave just breaks and I'm on the shore and it's relaxed. So this is what I want to give to you. This is the kind of deprogramming of the nervous system that is totally possible. And I mean, this is just intense. Like, I'm sharing with you some of the most intense experiences and moments of my life. And this is where this work really came from for me. This is where this passion to share this has really come from. And honestly, it's wowed me. I'm wowed by the transformations that are occurring, have occurred. And I know I'm confident in these lifelong tools and practices. I'm confident that they continue to serve me throughout my life as my soul embodiment deepens, as my opening to life deepens. I'm confident in knowing that I have these rudders and that I get to navigate with ease. So let's just check in for a moment. After hearing this and hearing about these three centers, the throat, the heart, the womb, and seeing before these challenges that you've identified in your life, can you identify where these challenges might be stored for you, what power centers they may involve? So go into that for a moment and just see for yourself, what's happening for you, what's happening in your body. This could be really revelatory, revolutionary, evolutionary. And I'm so excited that you're doing this work with me here. So go ahead and just let me know if you've identified a place. Go ahead and identify it for yourself. And we're going to go into an exercise, a visualization exercise. You're doing great. This work is challenging. This work is interesting above all else. I really find it to be incredibly interesting because we really get to go into the crux of our life experience. We really just get to show up for ourselves. And honestly, for me, that's one of the most exciting things that we could be doing. And that's why I love to be with you as you go on this journey. I love for you to have these tools. So let's just go into a visualization exercise. We've now identified our challenges. We've seen where they live in our body and our life experience. And what I want to do is now connect with our true essence. Connect with everything that is always there with us. These challenges can move, can shift, can flow. We can deprogram them. Our essence is consistently there. So here we go. Let's just close our eyes again. Let's just touch the heart a little bit, massage it a little bit, maybe tap on it a little bit to activate this power center. And just presence yourself here in your body again, supported by the surface that you're on. And reconnect with that column of light that was moving through you as we started. This column of light that goes from the bottom of your spine, right from where the womb or the Hara is, up through the center of the energetic field of the heart, past the throat, and out from the top of your head, connecting you to source and spirit energy. And also see it root down deep, deep into the molten lava core of the earth. And just rest here, knowing that you are completely supported by this channel of energy. And start to ask yourself this question: how is it? What is my essence? What is my essence? And request from yourself, from your guides, to see or to feel your essence. So this may come to you as an abstract sensation, an abstract visual. This may come to you as an animal, or maybe as a tree. Start to merge with whatever that is coming to you. See it as if it's becoming one, as it is one, with this column of light that is going up and down through your body. Ask it for some message. How would you live? What is one or more things that you would bring into your life experience if you were to be fully connected with your essence? How is it that you would show up? If this essence that you're connecting with right now, visually, somatically, if you were to have contact with this on a regular basis, how would this change your life? Maybe you would just be more peaceful, wouldn't worry about this or that as much. Maybe you wouldn't be afraid to ask for what you want and to just fully give it to yourself. Maybe you would know that you're more powerful and more capable beyond any illusion of anything less than that. And you would know that you have full permission to live every single one of your dreams just because. Just because you're here for that. See this powerful energy blasting away, as in a brilliant white light, just blasting away any dark patches. See just any chains or shackles or cords or ropes, or just any blackness, darkness just falling away from you, completely dissolving in this light. And just keep turning up the juice on this essence, this radiance that is you. Keep on just turning up the juice on that as it just blasts away everything that you're capable of releasing right now. Just see it fully just drop all around you, disappearing. And you are now just surrounded by this column of blazing, powerful energy. It's both gentle and strong at the same time, both brilliant and shining and soft at the same time. It's power, the power of creativity, the power of inspiration, the power of fearlessness. This is you in your essence, blooming your power, activating it. And just one final request here. Just request and allow and witness as this blazing energy just unlocks your womb, your heart, and your throat to the greatest degree possible right now. Just see these power centers melt open, burst open, bloom open, align, activate. Your radiance is so clear. Just rest in that for another couple of breaths. And allow that to continue as you come back in presence here. Hi. You're doing wonderful. So I did say that I wanted to share the tapping technique with you, and I will do that right now. So as we tap, we're activating acupressure points while verbalizing feelings and emotions. And this serves to realign our somatic body-based neural circuits. And this allows our body to relax certain patterns and programs and also invites new ones into the system. So it's a really good time to do this when we're feeling an emotion. After this meditation, we may not be so in touch with the limiting emotions that are present in us. That said, I want to give you this technique right now. So you can go ahead and tap along with me and verbalize with me. We're just going to do a quick little sequence here. I'm going to put this little point that we're going to touch is a little bit lower in my body. So we're going to initiate a sequence like this. Even though I haven't always lived my essence, and I haven't always been in touch with my true self, and this has cost me time and opportunities and connections, I'm just going to be with this. I completely and fully love and accept myself. So go ahead to the crown of the head. There's been so many times when I've blocked my true self. Over here now. When I haven't let my voice be heard. When I've closed down to receiving pleasure. Underneath the eye now. So many times when I just said no to my real, true essence. So you're saying these sentences with me as I say them. I don't know why I did that. I shouldn't have done that. we're voicing all our limiting beliefs. I really didn't do my best. So underneath the collarbones here. And now underneath the armpit. I really held myself back. And I missed out on a lot. I can't believe that that's how I navigated myself. All these limiting beliefs, all these programs. It's like I didn't know I could do more. Even though I don't have enough money, even though I don't always speak my truth, even though I shut down when I really want to receive. I could have done better. I should have done better. I have so many blocks. So we're really voicing all the limiting beliefs, all the limiting thought patterns, all the limiting consciousness. And this can sound kind of intense and kind of really negative, so to speak. That said, we're just getting it out, moving through it, because these kind of sentences can exist inside of our subconscious. And you can change the words if something doesn't totally apply, that usually it's very direct and like this. I want to do this perfectly. I should be perfect. And I have this voice inside me that makes sure I do it all perfectly. That's why I keep stopping myself. That's why I keep blocking myself. It's not safe to be fully me. It's not safe to really just show up in this world. There's a lot that I need to protect from. There's a lot that I need to watch out for. Being fully me would be crazy. People would judge me. People would laugh at me. I'm not allowed to be me. I have to appear perfect. And I have to manage my appearance. It's not safe to show up fully. The world is not safe. And I don't trust myself. It's scary to be fully me. Okay, shake it out. So when we tap, it can be kind of intense like that. It can be that we're going in to saying just what is happening in there. And it's very often that these are the kind of sentences that are playing in our subconscious. So that was a negative round. Don't worry, we didn't bring this up or manifest it. We actually cleared and let go of vibrations that have been running underneath the surface. So right now we're going to move into a positive round. And that's my favorite way to do it, to uproot, get in there, and then seed that fertile soil with the positive stuff. So let's get in there again. Even though I may not have always shown my true self, even though I may still have some fears around that, I'm just going to be open to discovering and connecting with my essence. I completely and fully love, allow, and forgive myself. There's a lot of times that I've held myself back, but I'm open to that changing. I'm open to moving forward with ease and grace. I'm open to connecting with my essence. I deserve success. I deserve good things. I'm a good person. I love myself. Every day I pour my heart and my soul into my work. I have a lot of evidence for that. I'm valuable. And I'm awesome. Good things are possible. And being authentic to myself is something that excites me. I deserve to receive money. I deserve as much money as I want. I'm open to receiving that. And I'm open to new ways that money can flow into my life. And I'm open to receiving more pleasure. I'm open to stepping in fully into my essence. I deserve this. And it can be fun. I'm so grateful to myself for learning this technique right now. I always want the best for me. I love my life. This is totally possible. This is exciting. I love myself. Shake it out. So feel into your body. These have been a little bit of some sort of general examples of tapping together. And now you get a sense of the sequence and how we go into something like this. So in this one kind of short round together, a little bit of stuff might have started moving, though really it's about doing this with specific to you and specific to something that's happening right now, that's coming up in the body right now. And this is where I am so excited to tell you about something that I have for you, that I've created for you. So what I invite you into is 6 weeks together to cultivate and open these power centers, to bloom this innate divine power that you have, and to each week together use tapping in a very specific way to rewire and reprogram the somatic system. So this totally transitions you from going after your goals and your dreams and your intentions in a logical way to getting your body fully on board with basically vibrating and manifesting your dreams like almost for you, although of course you're with your body and you're in your body. So this is like a deep partnership. This 6-week journey creates, initiates, and grounds this deep partnership between you and your body, giving you these lifetime tools that you can then use for years to come as the layers of your essence keep unfolding. It's like a blooming rose that just keeps on releasing its petals into more and more openness and bliss. So these are the tools that completely supercharge your liberation, your ease, and you're stepping into dreams that you may not even admit your desire for right now. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to unlock and own our desires, and we're going to in turn activate the womb, the heart, and the throat, and then all three in conjunction, so that you are living this embodied, empowered, activated essence, your essence in the world, and everything that you put your heart and your mind to, your heart and your mind are together. And that is where manifestation, that is where, the secret, the magnetization of our goals really starts to roll. So if you have big dreams that you're working on right now in your business, in your creative life, in your relationships, this is it. These are the tools that when you start to apply this, life changes. And you heard what I shared with you. This blew my mind. This blew my heart of how effective this is. And so the thing is that it's not only this 6-week group experience together with other women who are just as inspired and activated to go on this journey together in a community atmosphere. We're going to have a private Facebook group where we're all going to interact and share together as we go through these 6 sessions together. I'm also giving you a free one-on-one 1-hour session with me to fully go in specifically into what it is that you need. And you can have this at any time. You can have this at the beginning of the program, at the end, however it is that you want it, to facilitate specifically in private one-on-one working with me, where I reflect to you with these tapping sequences to really get in there. So there's no hiding, there's no making excuses. There's just an unlocking of your essence and your power. You deserve this. You can have this. When we start to live in this way, there is just an innate kind of like confidence and sensuality, and whatever we approach is easeful. It's comfortable. It's like this juicy, like neutral space where we're not swinging on that pendulum of deep attachment or kind of, running away from something. We're just there. We're in this space, in this fertile ground, the garden of our spirit. So the program is called In Your Essence. It's 6 weeks together, and it's 7 weeks really, because we meet again for a 7th week to go deep into any questions that we have, to dialogue together. And there's also a surprise activation experience at the end that we do live together. So this is just so exciting. The whole program is live. You get me like this. If you can't make it live, there's replays, and I'm consistently available to you via email. And just I'm there for you. I'm supporting you. I really want you to fully get all the support that you need, which is why I'm including this one-on-one session together. So this is so exciting to enroll in this. And enrollment, it closes on the full moon. So that's just a couple days from now. You can only get into this up until the full moon. Then the doors close and we start this sacred container together. So if you're feeling a yes for this, I want you to navigate over to the webpage where you can take a look at the curriculum, where you can take a look at the testimonials. So I'm going to drop the webpage here in the comments. And it's also going to be something that you have access to if you're watching this on the replay. There you're going to find that you can enroll with just one single payment. It's $497, or 2 payments of $249. So I've made this accessible and simple. You deserve to receive these tools. This is a lifetime package. This is everything that has completely changed my life over the past 7 years, where I'm now living, really, I'm accessing more and more of my essence every day, like that rose that just keeps on blooming. So that's what you get to have. That's what you're fully capable of. I just feel so much inspiration around bringing this to you and around sharing this with you. Okay, so I mentioned that enrollment closes on the full moon. You have until then. And really, I want to invite you into this. So the first 3 people that enroll with watching this webinar, so let me know, shoot me an email as a reply to any of the emails I've sent you. Shoot me a response and say like, hey, I saw this webinar. That's why I'm saying yes to this. I will include another private session. So that's together, those 2 sessions are a value of $300. So that basically almost covers your tuition for the entire course. And you get the 2 private sessions with me for free. So I'm going to include another 1-hour private session with me. You can use this at any time within 3 months over the course. So you can have one during the course, you can have one 3 months out. I really want you to ground these changes into your system. I really want this to be as effective as it is for you. I want this to be sustainable for you. I'm rooting for you. This is your time to shine, your time to open, your time to live in your juicy, sensual, creative, abundant essence. I'm so excited for you to have this. So the first 3 people, shoot me an email, tell me I saw the webinar, that's why I'm saying yes. I'm going to include that second session for you. Okay, so I'm going to open this up to just any questions. This is everything that I've wanted to share with you today. So let me know, is there some other way that I can serve you right now? Some other way that I can meet your needs right now? Just drop me a line in the comments, and then if there's no questions, we're going to wrap up. So I'm just going to leave this open for a couple of minutes just in case you have something that you want to say. If you want me to just unmute you, you can raise your hand. I'll unmute you and we can just chat about anything that I shared during this webinar, about anything that you've seen in another webinar with me, anything at all. Let me know. I'm here for you. So I think to raise your hand, you can click on more options and it'll be right there. I'll unmute you. Awesome. Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you so much for being here, for experiencing this, and for devoting your time to this. You have this tool. You have a little bit of this tool. You have a little bit of this technique. It's yours. Use it. Love yourself. You fully deserve to live in your essence. Okay, so if there's no other questions, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm so grateful that you have chosen to create time for yourself for this. Just being here, that's a total win. You have really done something for yourself here. And I'm so grateful to be able to serve you in this way and to connect with you in this way. Thank you so much. May you be fully and completely blessed with the radiance of your essence, with the radiance of your birthright. You deserve a magnificent life. I wish that for you. Thank you. I love you. See you soon.